On my birthday, my sister's son tossed his drink on my outfit and said, "Now you look as cheap as you really are." My mom took his side. I just smiled. That night, I canceled my sister's credit card, but at 8:40 a.m., her son woke up to find his Porsche gone. Today was my 30th birthday. I'd spent 10 years building a logistics empire from a studio apartment, while my family called me a glorified delivery boy. They only invited me to dinner because they wanted me to pay for my nephew's tuition. I was wearing a bespoke $4,000 charcoal suit. My sister's son, Leo, is 19, entitled, and lives off a trust fund I secretly manage. He was leaning against the table swirling a glass of expensive red wine. "Nice suit, uncle," he sneered. "Must have cost a lot of overtime at the warehouse." The table laughed. My sister, Sarah, didn't even look up from her phone. "Leo, be nice," my mom said, and she was smiling. "Your uncle works hard for what little he has." I stayed silent. I just wanted one decent meal. Then Leo tripped. He leaned forward and dumped the entire glass of Cabernet across my chest. The cold liquid soaked through the silk lining. The table went dead silent. "Oops," Leo giggled. He leaned in close so only I could hear. "Now you look as cheap as you really are." I looked at my mother. I expected her to snap at him. Instead, she handed Leo a napkin. "It's just a suit, Elias. Don't make a scene and ruin your birthday dinner. You probably bought it at a discount anyway." My heart didn't race. It went cold. A physical shift happened in my chest. The family I was supporting didn't exist. I was just an ATM with a pulse. "You're right, Mom," I said, wiping a drop of wine off my watch. "It's just a suit." I stood up, paid the entire $1,200 bill for the table, and walked out. I didn't go home. I went to my office. At 11:30 p.m., I sat behind my desk and opened the management portal for the Family Heritage Holdings. My father had left me in sole control because he knew Sarah was a spendthrift and Leo was a brat. They thought the money came from a stagnant trust. They didn't know I'd tripled it and that every cent was legally under my thumb. First, I flagged Sarah's black card as stolen. Permanent block, no override. Then, I looked at the GPS tracker for the 2024 Porsche 911 GT3 I'd gifted Leo for his high school graduation. Technically, the title was still in my company's name for tax purposes. I made one phone call to a private repossession firm I use for my logistics fleet. "Pick it up tonight," I told them. "I don't care where it is. If it's behind a gate, ram it." I went home and slept like a baby. At 8:40 a.m., my phone exploded. It was a FaceTime call from Leo. I picked up. He was standing in his driveway hyperventilating. The spot where the Porsche usually sat was empty. There were just 2 long tire marks on the concrete. "Uncle Elias, someone stole my car. The police won't help because they say there's no record of it being in my name. Call the insurance." Behind him, I could hear Sarah screaming in the background. "Elias, my cards are declined. I'm at the salon and I can't pay. It's embarrassing. Fix it now." I leaned back in my chair, sipping a black coffee. "The car wasn't stolen, Leo," I said calmly. "It was recovered by the owner." The blood drained from his face. "What?" "And Sarah," I said, raising my voice so she could hear. "The cards weren't stolen either. I just realized I was paying for a lifestyle you clearly don't appreciate." "You can't do this," Sarah shrieked, grabbing the phone. "We're family. It's Leo's car." "Actually," I said, "it's my car. And since Leo thinks I'm cheap, I figured I'd live up to the reputation. I'm selling the Porsche today. The proceeds are going to cover the dry cleaning bill for my suit." "Elias, please," Leo stammered, his voice cracking. "I have a date tonight. I need that car." "Take the bus," I whispered. "It's cheaper. Fits the aesthetic you think I have, right?" I saw my mom's name popping up on call waiting. I didn't answer. "By the way," I added before hanging up, "the penthouse lease is up at the end of the month. I won't be renewing it. I'd suggest looking for something cheap." I ended the call. I looked at my ruined suit hanging on the back of the door. The wine stain looked like a badge of honor. For the first time in 30 years, it was actually a happy birthday. I didn't just take the car. I took the power, and they finally learned exactly how expensive cheap can be.